Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Before starting, subscribe and like the videos, it really helps a lot. The content from this video are taken from the web novel and manga series of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Now please enjoy the video. Part 3, Rudeus' point of view. What an absolutely unforgivable story. To not only steal away something a person created, but also crush it underfoot, it's an outrageous display of violence. It's the same as smashing up someone's laptop with a baseball bat. To destroy people's belongings like nothing is. Arush, sheet. They're disgusting and I can't forgive them. What I can't forgive above anything else is that they stepped on Roxy. Even if it was a doll, they stepped on Roxy. In the Edo period, the Tokugawa shogunate would force concealed Christians to step on pictures of Jesus or Mary. In the past, I had laughed at this. As if you could identify them with a test like that. I had thought. However, I understand it now. The feelings of those Christians. The disgrace you feel when something you believe in is trampled in front of you. The reality of the Shimabara rebellion. The humiliation of Konoha. The crusaders who forced themselves forward even when it was impossible. I understand it now. I have to teach them a lesson. I have to teach those two stupid animals just what it is they've done. I must teach them a lesson. I must teach them that there are consequences born from doing whatever you please. Listen up. Zanoba-san. Why, yes. We'll catch them alive. We won't kill them. We must punish them for defying God. Punish them. I see. I think that for now we should catch them separately. However, those two always act together. A two-man cell. Animals that move in packs really are smart. That's true. They're smart enough that you wouldn't think of them as animals. And speaking of those two, they have combat strength enough to defeat you, Amiko. It seems like it'll be quite a tough battle for us. No, I think that with Shushu here it'll be more than manageable. It's no good to overestimate me. Victory is something that you grasp by always being modest, you know. I keep myself composed. I keep composed. I keep cool. In my adventurer days, whether or not I was calm determined whether I lived or died. I'll always keep cool, always keep composed, and beat those animals to death. Let me tell you the plan. Sir, though their battle strength is unknown, we've already grasped their attack style. One of them will quickly charge forward while causing chaos with magic, and in that time the other will use voice magic to render the enemy powerless. It's simple, but the two of them are equally strong. Even if we attack the one in the rear, they have the ability to immediately change roles. The one attacked will devote themselves to defense, and the other will wholeheartedly try to use the stun technique. Did Fitts senpai defeat this combination? It would have been good to hear about it. Well, whatever. It's probably fine. However, this time it'll be 2-on-2. If you use your real power, I don't think that you, Amiko, will lose to them. No, even if it wasn't a 2-on-2, I think that Shushu alone would be plenty though. Zanoba, you admire me as a Shushu. I'm glad. Regarding close combat, however, I have a childhood friend who's 2 years older than me that would always beat me up. Since then I've been trying to work out, but frankly speaking I have no confidence at all. There's a person who can beat Shushu up. There certainly is. At the very least, I know of 3 such people. They're Eris, Rudeus, and Fitts. Though I only know 3 people, if I searched I'd definitely find more. And it isn't necessarily true that Ranoa and Persena aren't among them. If I use my demon iron magic, I can win against Eris. However, I virtually never fought with her for real. Ranoa and Persena are about the same age as Eris. It would be better to treat them as having that level of power. Shushu is being too humble. Zanoba-kun, victory is not something you can be certain of. We mustn't let Roxy-sensei be trampled on again. I actually want to ask Elinalise or Fitts-senpai for help. Unfortunately, the two of them are busy, so this time it'll just be us. Elinalise doesn't really get involved with personal quarrels. Even though she had been in Roxy's care, isn't it fine if it's just a doll? It's not as if Roxy herself has been done in. She would say, she's a cold-hearted one. Sir, in that case let's immediately send him a letter for a duel. In my country, we have an ancient custom of sending a letter with a knife and a single flower when we duel. The Rudeus tribe have a similar custom where they throw a rotting fruit at their enemy's head. However, I've never heard of such a custom, so it might just be a lie, but it's what I heard when I dueled them. What will Shushu be doing? I'm going to ambush them. Isn't that unfair? HMPH, if it's unfair then great. This isn't a duel. This is a crusade. Since it's a crusade, being unfair is fine. As long as it's in the name of religion, anything is acceptable. Victory is all that matters. Part 4 However, I gave up on the ambush. I couldn't think of a way to fool the noses of the Dorudia tribe after all. In the end, we simply waited to attack them. It was from the front, fair and square. There's a separate building a little distance away from the main school building. From there we search for a route to the dorms, and position ourselves somewhere with no people. It's by the forest and is an open space that's hard to see from elsewhere. There, we wait grandly, taking imposing poses. It's evening now. There are few passerbys. I don't have a policy of holding my duels during the evening or anything. It's because right now is when their lessons end and they're leaving the school building. By the end of the day their mana is depleted, or so my plan went. Even so, they're late. They disgrace all delinquents because they properly attend their lessons. Even though it would have been fine to gather on the rooftop late in the afternoon. My arms are crossed, and together with Zanoba I'm waiting in an imposing stance. It had gone past evening and it was just about to truly darken, and was around the time that I'd be done with dolls. At that time, they appeared. What's this, NYA? Like, what's this, Nano? They saw the two of us who posed here. Ranoa glared at me in suspicion. Oi, you guys, if you stand there you'll get in people's way, NYA. Move aside, NYA. So she said, but I didn't move. Persena sniffs at the air. Persena licks her lips and grins broadly. Ranoa, it seems that these guys wanna have a go. Hearing this, Ranoa stares at Zanoba who's standing behind me. Then she sighs. Zanoba, aren't you ashamed, NYA? Though it's revenge for that time, what's the deal about bringing that first-year boy along, NYA? HMPH. Zanoba snorts and turns his head away. A vein bulges on Ranoa's head. Pissing me off, it's an attitude that I can't stomach, NYA. It looks like I'll have to break the other doll, NYA. Mew, shushu, with an angry expression Zanoba made to step forward but I stopped him. I'm irritated as well. By the other doll, she probably means the Rude doll. In other words, they intend to break the figurine of my benefactor and friend. Isn't it fine? There's nothing to be ashamed about. You two who are always together are much more shameful. People are always saying that you can't do anything by yourselves, anyhow. What was that, NYA? Ranoa and Persena are making threatening expressions are floating in the air. However, as expected they're not scary. I know someone who holds a much more terrifying bloodthirst. If that person was told a line like that, without a sword she'd jump in and attack. She'd hit you, pull you to the ground, mount you and pound you with her fists while hurling acidic words at you. These guys are lukewarm. You, don't get too carried away, you first year. Since you seem to be G-chan's acquaintance I overlooked you, NYA, but if your mouth gets too big I'll beat you to death, you know. What's with that? It's like we're picking a fight with them for no reason, isn't it? Look, if you get it then piss off, NYA. We're already done with messing around, NYA, so we're busy honors students now, NYA. Go pick a fight somewhere else, NYA. Saying that, Ranoa waved us away. I can't stand anything about her. Though I used to get really aroused by this, nya business in the past, I'm angry at the moment and I can't see it except as making fun of us. You're freaking noisy with all the nya. Can the beast race speak nothing but that kind of shitty human language? My acquaintances all speak it perfectly, you know. You're not a baby, so how about you try pronouncing things properly? NYA. Ranoa's mouth shot open in anger. Her pupils suddenly narrowed. She let out a breath angrily, and her tail is standing on end. I'll strip you naked and pour water all over you. That's something that's already happened to me. It's second-rate as a threat. And hearing this makes her seem like quite the idiot. Ranoa gets angry right away, Faku Nano. Muttering this, Persena bared her fangs and brought her hands to her mouth. It brings to mind the time when I was done in by guys. It's voice magic. Hookah. Persena seemed to be preparing her technique. Ranoa kicked off the ground. With a sound, Ranoa leapt sideways and vanished. Less than Ranoa will move right beside me in 3 steps, and will suddenly charge in to attack me greater than. It's reasonably fast. However, I've already activated my demon eye. It's not so fast that I can't see her. Zanoba, Persena. I watch Ranoa and give instructions to Zanoba. While I speak, I aim my hand towards Persena. It's difficult to tell when her voice magic activates using my demon eye. It'd be better to stop her before that happens. However, I don't understand the flow of mana for the voice magic. As a result, I don't know if I can use disturb magic. That's why I create a huge cloud of sand before her. Exclamation mark. Cough. Cough. Persena, who inhaled quite a bit, is now coughing violently. At the same time Ranoa thrusts. I see it. It's slow, crude, and she throws her whole weight in. I could probably dodge it just fine even without using my demon eye. She can't even hold a flame to Eris. Eris was faster, sharper and more beast-like than the beast race, more determined and finally, stronger. I match her movements and counter her. I shoot my palm towards her chin. With just that, Ranoa jerks and messes up her stance. I pursue her. I strike her forehead and bring her to the ground. I step on her chest. Overlooking her, I create a rock bullet. A clear sound resounds. Ginyan. Ranoa easily parts with her consciousness. I remove my foot from Ranoa, who looks like a squashed frog. Because of the force from the fight, her skirt is upturned. It's white today, huh? I turn my eyes towards Persena and Zanoba. As according to the plan, Zanoba moves towards the attacker in the rear who is assigned the role of using voice magic. Zanoba can't catch up. Persena, who is moving on 4 limbs, is fast. Or more like, Zanoba is slow. Is he a throw character or something? All he has is physical strength. He needs to train his running more. I create a bog in front of Persena. Because the ground in front of her was suddenly turned muddy, she tripped up and fell face first into the mud. Wahoo! At the same time, I use earth magic and harden the mud. What? Like what's this, Nano? Persena was trying to pull out of the hardened mud in a panic. I fired an earth bullet from my right hand. Eon. A nice sound rang out and Persena fainted. It was over. All right, come. At my signal, Julie, who's been hiding behind a bush, trots over with a large sack. Together with Zanoba, they stuff the 2 girls into the sack. Still, that ended more quickly than I'd expected. Is that just how these things are? Eris would never think of going out of her way to attack from the side. Her fist would always find the shortest path. Also, she would never have been hit by that first counter. Even assuming she was hit, she'd have changed the site of impact and avoided being concussed. Doing so, she wouldn't have received the attack on the temple and fallen to the ground either. Even if she did fall to the ground, she'd immediately begin to grapple and attack. She wouldn't have allowed me to step on her chest either. In the instant that I did that, she'd catch my knee or ankle and might even break them. Even if she broke them, my rock bullet wouldn't stop though. It was the same for Persena's situation, too. If it were Eris, she wouldn't have tripped up just because the ground in front of her turned into mud. She'd properly keep her balance, or she'd stand still and get out of it. Of course, there's no way Eris could do this in the beginning. Because she stacked up a lot of experience in battling me, she became able to cope with it. However, when I did something like that to Paul, he dealt with it even on the first time. As long as it's an advanced ranked swordsman with plenty of experience, they'd be able to avoid something like a bog. Moreover, these days even monsters won't be caught by bogs. Even the stray dragon, The stray dragon got caught, didn't it? Could it be that Paul and Eris are just really strong? I'd heard that they had talent, but, as expected of Shushu, I didn't even get a turn. Zanoba returns carrying the sack. I stop thinking about those things and turn to face him. No, even I was surprised. You're being modest. Come on, let's return to the room. Yeah, we walk down the now dark path while taking care not to be seen by anyone. Julie, watch your feet, okay? I'm fine, Annie. It feels that there's a bit of fear mixed into Julie's eyes when she looks at me. That's it guys, thank you for watching, subscribe if you want more and don't forget to like the videos.